What are some examples of how people use commonplace notebooks? Hi everyone, my name is Estella, and in this video, that's what we are going to talk about today. So I have my Commonplace notebook here, and I have another one here because I've gotten some comments talking about, I love how you use your Commonplace notebook. We love to see it, and I wanted to share some actual examples using mine as a reference, and she just keeps on getting thicker and thicker. Like, the thickness of this Commonplace notebook is really satisfying, and I love that she has really helped me do so much. I notice a big difference whenever I don't use my Commonplace notebook or journal. I feel like I have a lot of emotions just kind of lingering, so this has really helped me a lot. And I'm going to show you examples of one very kind of specific commonplace book and then a more generalized commonplace notebook. So this notebook, and I've shared this before and I will link the video in my description, this notebook has 4 different categories: mood and thoughts, pop culture and movies, articles, content, books, podcasts, which is blue, and then happy mail in this beautiful light green color, right? And this has been a common theme, right? This is happy mail. This is something that I was listening to, or podcast. This was a movie. Here goes my emotions there on that specific page. This is happy mail. This is me listening or watching a video. This is me listening to a podcast. This was listening to a podcast, another podcast. This is mind mapping here, okay? Emotions. This was listening to another podcast and also taking something from this quote. Happy mail. So my commonplace notebook is just that. I am putting my thoughts in here. I'm putting pieces of content or reading something that I'm listening to, going to the movies, things like that, getting happy mail, and just really putting all this into a book. And every time that I flip or show weekly progress on my Instagram page, I'm sharing how the book is progressing, and I'm sharing like entries that I'm placing. And some weeks may be a little more emotional, which is completely fine because that is the human dynamic. But not only that, it's just kind of capturing moments, right? Happy mail when I got my new moleskin, when I went to Blick Art Materials and I ended up purchasing 2 items, and here go the tags that I absolutely love. Got some coffee with my mom, my son, just memories, right? And now I have more entries, and I do have to categorize these because I did these throughout the week. But this is just something else, like romanticizing reading. I want to get started on reading so badly, and kind of removing more social media kind of impacting my life a little bit, right? So the more that I remove myself from being online or social media, I notice a big difference. Not only that, it's just that it's also allowing me more time, right? I'm very specific when I share something. It's usually just something to show my progress, something to show my journals, something that I find useful that I use in my everyday life. And then I go back to my real life because unfortunately, with my mom's condition progressing and then my father getting older and needing more assistance, I have less time to just be doing anything. So this is an example of how you can use a general commonplace book. Like, I even have, I think, a page of a book that I was reading, and I decided to stick it in here, right? And I wrote an observation that I put here, covered it up, obviously, because it was a little more personal. And I decided to make that book, right, once I finished reading it, a part of this journal. And I wanted to keep that. I've also used certain pages from the book to kind of write an entry because I was already finishing up that book, right? Here's a quote, and that's from a cloth and paper vellum. Here goes more of that book. So the thing is, you could take anything. You could take pages from a book. You could take a podcast that you're listening to, write down the name of the podcast. This right here is an actual example of something in the blue category, right? So if I go back, it's articles, content, books, right? This is a quote but I purchased this from Wildly Noted. It's a shop, and it says, have the courage to be yourself, even if that means being alone. And I put the shop name here because, of course, I want to remember what shop I purchased this from. But I also want to have this quote here because it's allowing me to think. And this is more or less how I felt today. This was my last entry, kind of a little heavy. Things are weighing on me. I have like a to-do list always, and it's like me looking down on the to-do list. So everything that I put in my book is very intentional, even down to the meaning and kind of finding my path and finding my own wings, right? Like a butterfly. Very, very deep meaning, right? And you wouldn't think of looking at it that way because you're just looking at it and like, oh, it's cute. She's making it pretty. And really, I'm just scribbling a whole bunch of little tiny notes and little things in here. So this is a good example of how you can use a Commonplace notebook. So this book is amazing, by the way, because it is a soft cover leatherette. So it's very, very durable. And I love that. But I'm obsessed with hardcover books. And I'm obsessed with the hardcover moleskin books. Who would have thought, right? Started in pocket, ending up in pocket. So this is an example of a specific Commonplace notebook. And the reason that this is a specific Commonplace notebook is that I am using this for just marketing and social media, right? I made it my own, right? I have a little piece in here. This is from my old social media bullet journal. I made a pocket. Adventure is worthwhile. I added some things to the front, right? And then I decorated the front as always, romanticizing just what I want to do with this. This started in June 2023. And here I go. This is all notes basically on social media, right? Marketing, ongoing creative processes. What can I ask during creative meetings? Strategies. How do I use them? Ideas for posts, right? And I get ideas on social media. I also get these notes from different creators on YouTube just talking about social media. And then I go ahead and write notes regarding that. And I'll write like Dara Denny, right? She does great videos on social media and marketing. And I write down notes. And this is the entire notebook. This is just my Commonplace notebook for social media. And you can do the same thing. You could take a simple notebook and just use it for specific purpose, right? And if I want to go ahead and make it about something else, I can. Or if I want to make it more generalized, I can, because I can use my notebook for whatever purpose I want. However, this is specifically for social media. And when I say that, it's because anything that I use pertaining to social media, about marketing, about thinking, about what I'm going to do in terms of learning and growing and developing, because it's a constant change, then I am going to put that right here. I'm going to put it in this notebook. So this is a very, very specific notebook for a specific purpose. And I think that this is something that you can also do. So if you don't want something generalized and you want something more specific, you want something that's catered, then this is something that you can do, right? Anything pertaining to the specific subject, social media, marketing, brand awareness, brand strategy, things like that, then you could do that. If you want to do a specific Commonplace notebook on reading, right, you can absolutely do that. So if I take, and I'm just going to pull this here. If I take another book, right, this is a new book that I purchased, and I went ahead, you could tell I have a theme for 2023. It's romanticizing notebooks. If you didn't get it, I am romanticizing notebooks again. I used to be a notebook hoarder. Then I went all into planning. And now it's funny because it's like I'm really back in a notebook. And I have the sticker from Kubo and Lucy. And this is from Emerald Fox Co., that sticker. And then I have a typewriter from Emerald Fox Co. sticker here. And the little moleskin logo. And it's basically, you know, typing up, beginning my book. And this book, I want to use it for reading. And the thing is, it's like I have this big book here, right? Six Crows. I started watching Shadow and Bone with my husband. We went through that, and I actually wanted to get the book. So I went to Barnes and Nobles and I purchased it because I want to use this notebook to basically write notes about what I'm reading. And of course, this book is thick. And I really would like to just kind of sometimes use it as a form of escape. So if I'm like in the living room or in the bedroom with my mother and father, and let's say I'm not really interested in what they're watching, I could read. And that's fine. Sometimes they just want to watch TV and not me interrupted with me talking or asking them questions. So I'm like, what am I going to do? Okay, I'm going to read. Instead of like mindlessly scrolling on social media, that's what I want to do. So you can basically come up with various ways of using your Commonplace notebooks. You can come up with different ways that you want to kind of, categorize your notebooks too. So an example, and this is the last thing I'm probably going to share, is if you want to categorize it by, you can use like stickers like this, right? This is from Daiso. And this says point, check, important, right? And if I want to color code my book or talking points of notes I'm writing in my Commonplace notebook, then I can do that. You can really do whatever you want. The world is yours when it comes to commonplacing and when it comes to notebooks. And I think that sometimes when we overcomplicate things, it gets a little overwhelming, or when we overdo things sometimes, or we want everything, we get overwhelmed, right? So sometimes keeping it simple is the best. So I really hoped this helped because I got several questions this week, and I figured I would make a video just discussing how you can use your Commonplace notebooks, actual examples of the kind of notebooks I have, and then sharing a new one that I want to start because I feel like it will help others out, because there are people who just may want a general Commonplace notebook and they just want to categorize their topics, and you can completely do that. Even if I wanted to add another color and put book, I can do that too. So don't overthink it and don't overwhelm yourself. Just keep it as simple for you as possible, and then do whatever works for you. I hope this video helped, and until next time, bye.